Hey JC fam, let's do another Johnny Costa pick overview, shall we? I'm going to take this crumpled up piece of paper and say the magic words. Fi, fell, flee to D. And there's our picture for today. This is a picture of Johnny Costa's trio again, and this time the bassist is Ronald Fudoli. We need to talk about Ronald Fudoli today, and this picture, of course. Wait a minute, my hand is shaking. Let me do this the right way. Sorry about that, guys. I had a case of the shaky hands for a moment. My voice is also a bit rough because I was sick the past few days, so apologies about that. This picture was drawn back in December 2022. As you can see, it's drawn on orange construction paper. And complementing the way Johnny Costa's music was on Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood at the time, which was very, very fancy, the coloring on this picture is also very, very fancy. As you can see, I used some of the glitter effects Crayola crayons to make some of the metal and more metallic looking stuff. I even used some fancy metallic effects gel pens to color some of the outfits, to make them look kind of nice and glossy. And I used a gel pen, a teal gel pen, to write some of the text. The text that reads the music of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, no copyright infringement, and circa 1975 was written with a gel pen, and the rest of the text written with a normal pen. Besides adding a bit of character to the picture and a cute design, the 1 for free sticker is also somewhat of a necessity. As you can see, this picture is in wearing thin condition, and unfortunately, if you look closely, right about my camera always picks the dumbest times to go out of focus, but there is a slight tear on that spot right there. You see where I'm pointing my finger? That's that's one of the two spots on this picture where the picture tore while I was coloring it. Somewhere down here is another spot, but it's not that bad. There are two more stickers on the back to help strengthen the picture after those two tears. If my camera will stop going out of focus. There you go. Yeah, sometimes that happens. Not just the camera going out of focus, but also, coloring on construction paper. Sometimes you take those risks when you color very hard and in depth. Sometimes those little accidents happen. I'm sure a lot of you who have ever drawn on construction paper know how that feels. It's very frustrating when that happens. So we've talked a little bit about how Ronald Fudoli got involved with playing the show's music. He was introduced on the 1975 season. He performed on nearly the whole 1975 season. Again, 1396 to 1400 most likely had Michael Taylor instead, but for the most part, we had Ron Fudoli on the 1975 season. And he was also on the very last pre 79 week, episodes 1456 to 1460 from 1976. And then after after the pre 79 series ended, Ron Fudoli left, and Carl McVicker, who had been performing with Costa on and off at that point, he came back as Costa's full time bassist, and he was the bassist on Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood for the remainder of its run from 1979 to 2001. During his time on the show, Ron Fudoli did appear on camera in one episode. He only appeared in one episode. Mike Taylor and Carl McVicker got to appear on several different episodes of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. One of Carl McVicker's most notable guest appearances, I didn't mention in the video about him, was when he appeared in episode 1621 of the Fathers in Music Week, where he performed with the Marsalis family. But Ron Fudoli's only guest appearance on Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood was in episode 1443, which first aired on April 30th, 1975. And Johnny Costa wasn't the only musician and band leader Ron Fudoli performed with. Ron Fudoli was also a bassist for Buddy Rich at one point. I think that was before or after he started working with Johnny Costa. And in more recent years, he's also performed with guitarist Ken Karsh on his YouTube channel. I even remember commenting on one of Ken Karsh's videos asking, is that the same guy that was on Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood? And he's like, yes, it is. So there you go. Ron Fudoli is still, at least back in 2022 or so, he was still performing. Might still be performing today. Not sure. But as I said in the video about Michael Taylor, the 1974 season of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood had some of the most awesome jazz music I've ever heard. And obviously the same can be said for the 1975 season. The 1975 season, some episodes had jazzy music, borderline slightly more awesome than the 1974 episodes in some cases, especially during the closing credits. But anyways, that's all we have to say about Johnny Costa and Ron Fudoli. Thanks for watching. We'll do more pick overviews another time.